Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. This is going to be an extension for the Daily Dharma, and get it while you can because eventually, in a few weeks here, we're hoping to start the membership portal, and I hope some of you will choose to join us there. And all of the extended content will be moving over there. I'll have one Daily Dharma intended for Monday through Friday, and potentially some other readings here and there, but I'm really only going to be posting about one video a day at first on that channel, and I'm going to start developing the membership portal for the individuals who are ready to go over there and do the deep dive information, and that'll allow our extended readings to really narrow it down and hone into the individuals that are being present for those readings. It'll be a smaller collective by its nature, and so we won't have as many energies contributing to what the messages are coming through. So it'll help to get something that you can put your faith in a little bit easier. So let's start by getting these code cards. First one's flying out, and it's 19 at 1:19 on the timer. Delight. So as I mentioned in the Daily Dharma number 1, we ended that reading with 2 of our animal totem cards from the Medicine Oracle deck, and we had Dragon Supernatural, and we had the Dog Friend, and it was coming through as like, thank you for being such an incredible supernatural friend. It's like you bring levels of magic to the situation that other people didn't even know normal people could embody. It's kind of how it is coming through. And so it's like you are standing in your own light worker energy, however that comes through you. You could just be a lover in this time and space, holding extreme amounts of compassion and still be very much a light worker. So frequency of delight here, it says it supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So I do urge you to check out the first Daily Dharma. There was an entire presentation about this diagram called the point of realization, and it talks about how the in any type of situation, we have a baseline comfort zone, and that represents really the difference between our fear and our faith, or fear and love, whether we're talking about our decisions or our perspectives, our beliefs, and our, again, behaviors. It's like, are we acting out of love or fear? And do our beliefs represent faith that good things are coming and that we deserve these good things and that we can believe that we are protected and provided for? Or are we fearful and believe that this is a land of neglect and dystopian whatever? So in this situation, you're coming through with this delight card because you are re-inspiring individuals, right? You're helping them. And oh yeah, the point of realization, truth. So the point of realization is the opportunity to take everything in to our experience and then to create some type of relevance, to take what we need from that, and then to find some type of point, purpose, or a release point for that information. Because if we take in something that's challenging, it can become art or music or new hope, or something that compels us to act in a new way that would provide or protect, or to inspire us to do something great for the world. So yeah, this violet flame card with realization is talking about how we do that. And it's like, when we're at that point, it can seem like the hardest thing in the world to go and push through. But whether we go into the comfort zone or into our anxiety, or whether we continue to climb and to break through that point of realization, really sets us apart from other individuals, because we've all had times where we slide back down the slope or have had something else that needed to be learned in a situation, and we took another spin on the lessons wheel to figure out some type of element of the lesson that didn't come through the first time. So yeah, it supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more we evoke in others. So you might be having a relief or a release of some type of heavier emotion and breaking through, having some type of awareness, an epiphany breakthrough moment. Many things have been coming into the light, and in the previous reading we were talking about how that's like allowing that to be other people's karma so that it can be alleviated from our holding tank, from our energetic capacitor. And so our ability to alchemize and to not only generate our own reactions, responses, and emotional complexity, painting with this extended palette of colorful dynamics that comes from all of these various nuanced experiences and so on. The solar plexus is the unique area where that creativity is choosing how we're going to apply something. It's that will center. Do we choose to suffer, or do we choose to identify the pain and move away from the fire before we get burned any further? And so, yeah, we're utilizing our own creative fires, not to destroy, but to liberate. I'm seeing trust your innocence. However this is coming through for you at this time is very unique and divine. So there may be something that you didn't think that you were going to do, that all of a sudden you were in the flow with something and there's this spontaneous shift or a changed decision. So let's get some more cards here. We have magic. Trust your innocence. It's part of your magic. It's part of what other of your possibly friends, family, colleagues, or even so-called competitors, it's something that they easily identify in you. It's something inherent to your personality, because you have this dragon supernatural energy here. And if you trust that supernatural aspect of yourself, that's when your magical capacity really takes off. And so you're being told to not hold on to that old energy and to unfurl back into love, with heart chakra coming out. So it often comes through too for me that in the past, more recently past, it seems that many individuals were very anchored into the solar plexus, whether it was my choice, my space, my ownership, my material, my ego. And with this Aquarian age and this cosmic urge to unify and to uplift and ascend the matrix, so to speak, and to get into this ecstasy, joy, and intense liberation feeling by the virtue of using our energy in that way, is like orienting our identification of our character with not the solar plexus any longer of me, my, mine, but that Aquarian age is detaching. It's very liberated. So the fires of the solar plexus are giving way to the air quality of the heart. And so it's like being able to create the awareness and the choice point, this point of realization about how to get back into love. And part of it is to love ourselves. Part of it is to really celebrate and build and co-create the inner fire, work with others that are synergy based and collaborative and cooperative, that celebrate each other and themselves, that don't compare or compete or slander or gossip, and to hold yourself sacred and sovereign in that way. It seems that it came out in the previous reading that for this weekend in particular, I noticed that many things were coming into the light, and I was the truth speaker that was on hand in some irrelevant to me situations where I had to say, hey, P.S., by the way, everybody, this is a hoax. Or, hey, this person over here totally plagiarized this post. Or, you know, there's this thing that everybody's upset over here, conflicting and competing, but really we're all on the same team here. And so if we could share instead of pointing fingers, things could get better. And P.S., over here, there's this corruption or this financial discrepancy or something else that needs to be called out. And the card that flipped when that came out, exactly. You have this innocent automatic discernment, and it's part of your supernatural ability to perceive of lies right at the beginning, because of your true clarity and true resonance, and because you're always in alignment in this way to the best of your abilities. It supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of extreme inner balance and detachment, yet with the compassion and wisdom necessary. So it's like holding people accountable, but not blaming them, not assuming, just stating the facts so that others can maintain sovereignty and moving along. It's like, I don't care what you do with this information, but since it came to me, I'm just going to drop this here. I'm just going to say what I need to say, because we can no longer be complicit with things that are out of alignment with the higher good if it's within our wheelhouse to affirm a different way. And so that's a complex message that's going to get unpacked probably later, but I feel like it'll come back up today. So let's see, what else? Anything else want to come out from these cards? Let's take that stack and one more, and we'll stop there. Surrender. It's this trustful energy that's coming through with this point of realization. And I did not grab my notes, but it was talking about the surrendering to the flow without surrendering your values in that way. Yeah, you can shapeshift, you can change when you're ready, when you've accomplished this healing and have transcended some level of this choice point, this identification of the choice point, and how to transcend the comfort zone and comfort seeking or playing small, and to just let yourself stand tall. Interesting. So again, we're getting this air paradigm shift again. And with that air of the heart chakra comment, and then this viewing people and places and things from inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom, that is the age of Aquarius right there. And so I'm sensing it's this new paradigm, is this paradigm shift into the higher heart, the cosmic unfurling back into the love end of the frequency rather than the fear. And we're getting sacral chakra as well, and it comes out with water chakra and that air paradigm shift. So I feel like it is quite possible within the following few days, if you're watching this in line with the time and the calendars and all that good stuff, it is completely possible that there is further mass consciousness events that are transpiring behind the scenes right now, and that these things are already taking place, because we talked about secret meetings recently, and it came out more on the mundane level, which is fine. But then I noticed right as I was going to record, I was urged to get out the solar eclipse chart again, which you guys can, if you don't mind my chicken scratch, there you go. There's my little notes if you want to follow along or look at that. I was told to look at the Sabian symbols. And so, in sort of no apparent order here, I'll go around starting with the ascendant spot here, which is the connection between Saturn and Neptune. And this is happening at 29 degrees of Pisces and 1 degree of Aries, because uh, Saturn recently re-entered the Piscean waters there, but they're still closely conjunct. So look into the Sabian symbols for these placements if you wish. So the 29th degree is where Saturn is at, that critical degree at the very end of Pisces and the end of the zodiac, in that 12th zodiacal position. And it really represents so much that could be gained from the wisdom from the collective unconscious in this position, and our ability to be personally accountable and also sovereign and autonomous in a way. And so part of that is to set limits with ourselves and with others. And part of that is to be more disciplined when we know that we're out of alignment with our highest interest, and to check our own energies in that way. And the Sabian symbol was talking about when light hits a prism, the unlimited number of colors and hues that are created. And then the following degree, the 30th degree, talks about an individual who, as a child, sees an image on a rock that appears to look like a face, and idolizes it and begins to embody it as he grows up. So are we talking about some level of stoicism, some ability to just maybe bury down our dynamic emotions and to play some type of a game of mediocrity in some way? Type seems, it's like, embodying the stoicism of our ancestors has its place. I'm not going to dog it too much, but that prism, that color spectrum, is so incredibly important to bring forward into the new phase. And I think that's why Saturn had to go back there. It's like, yeah, adulting is good and great. Do your discipline, do your to-do list, and make sure not to play small. You do have a lot of growth that's still left. That's why you're here, being this dynamic force. But don't forget to take all the colors of the rainbow with you, because those are the extended colors from the color palette that Spirit has given us, that can see those unique colors, and to paint the town and the cosmos in that incredibly diverse palette. We are, yeah, we're moving into this. And so then Neptune in the first degree, going from that embodiment phase, it's like, oh, one other thing about that, the dynamic and the stoicism, it's not about either or being better or worse in this case. It's about the integration and the full embodiment of both. And so it's, here comes the wind saying, yeah, you're on to something here. But it's about grounding the dynamic flow of everything. So look at how chaotic the world appears to be right now. We, as people, and lightworkers in particular, bear some sort of cosmic responsibility and discipline to the light, to hold space for the grounding of that dynamism, to not get weighed down by the unnecessary karma of others at this time, and to diligently build and co-create that light. I'm seeing a floating spore on the breeze again. So moving from that grounding, that dynamic experience, then we have this energy of this, what was it, some kind of mermaid. A woman has risen out of the ocean. A seal is embracing her. And that always gives me the image of the goddess Sedna in her full transformation. She is the goddess of the ocean, that when her hair is all tangly, that she can pull the boats down and under the sea if they are like nefarious, if they don't give alms to her or ask, pray to her for safe passage, because she can get very moody in that way. And I'm seeing that the waters being friendly or not, it's dependent upon her. And she, in her grief and transformation cycle, she began to birth from her severed limbs new life into the ocean. So definitely view that first reading, because we got more on that new life, the codes. They're right at the beginning of the reading. And so then we're talking too about then that Sedna uprising after the healing, and perhaps being some level of more of a Heyoka mirror healer, which also comes up in the pre-messages from the Dharma one. And it's like that Heyoka energy here comes back because it talks about, shoot, let me just bring it up so I don't stammer. A comedian entertaining a group of friends. So it's like she's had all of this pain, but suffering was optional. And so she's out there creating a beautiful experience for her collaborators and her friends and family. So part of this supernatural ability for you to be a powerful light worker and friend in this situation, this time and space, is because of the way that you have this profound inner knowing. Yeah, and the horse freedom under there for next year. So you have this extreme inner knowing about how to partner your energy and accept yourself and your colorful personality, to feel confident about being you, because you're a joy bringer, this delight. You use your fire to light the fires of others and to create self-correction, not judgment, which never works. And let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. Beautiful, is it not? And so it's talking about your ability to bring that delight out into the world and to help people to return to their innocence and to their peace when it looks like the whole world is burning down. So then we have this Uranus at the first degree of Gemini, and it had some secret Santa vibes, the guy being really nervous in this elaborate costume. So that's really interesting. It talks a little bit for me at this time of, maybe within the next few months while we're leading up to that holiday time, is there something going on that's going to be a gift that's in the works? It kind of tells me about the universe acting through unexpected players in our environment, like the millionaire dressed up as the hobo. And then, it's the wrong term. How did I say that? Or Beauty and the Beast, it kept coming up where somebody's coming and, hey, do you have any room for me? It's storming outside. I don't have any shelter. Do you have just a loaf of bread? And the guy's like, nah, I got nothing for you. It's talking about how we use our generosity. We might not have money, we might not have an extra bed, but do we have a kind word? Because everything we do in this time and space matters. And what we identify as our personal abundance is the resource toolbox that we have to give back to the world. And yours is full of delight, my darling. You are delight. And so there's this nervous secret Santa energy where the universe is trying to communicate with us, but perhaps we're too nervous or in some type of worry or resistance energy, distrust energy, needing to get out of that, needing to assist others to rise above that so that the collective has more healthy, happy individuals painting their town with this beauty instead of infighting and all of that. We've got Jupiter at the 21st degree of Cancer, singing limerence and romance here, and this image of waiting for one's ships to come in to take you away to a desert island. So our gifts and abundance may come from taking a little siesta, getting out of the humdrum and the mediocre to enliven ourselves with some type of, it doesn't have to be romantic, intimate partnership, but it's some level of involvement in this ecstatic, intense bliss and joy, something that you can enjoy. So time in nature and getting out of that doldrum reality. We've got Venus at the second degree of Virgo, ideals, values, and protection coming up again from the spiritual forces that be. And then I really wanted to talk about the 29th, 30th, and the first degree here where the sun and the moon are at. But let's leave that for last. Just beyond sun and moon in Libra at the 6th degree, we've got this interesting depiction of the three symbols talking about, well, let's just say it, a man teaching the true inner knowledge of the new world to his students. So we've been cutting our teeth on some knowledge for a while. The universe has been sending these signs and synchronicities, and the research has come through us. And then a man watches his ideals taking concrete form before his inner vision. And again, we have some shapeshifter energy here about that choice point of that fear versus love point of realization, where we realize how we can bring light to the darkness in some sort of a situation instead of being eclipsed by the darkness ourselves. And so then from there it moves into this, a woman feeding chickens and protecting them from hawks. And it was giving this idea of like, whose vision are we trying to promote and protect? It's like, whose karma are we trying to resolve with our insights? And are we worried about others, or are we healing ourselves and showing the way with our light burning bright, full pillar of light online? And we've got, lastly, well, two last energies. We've got the 29th degree of Libra with a lot of generational knowledge coming through. And I thought that this was super profound as well. That 27th degree is talking about the airplane sailing high in the clear sky. And we had two helicopters go by in the previous reading. And then we have a man alone in deep gloom, unnoticed. Angels are coming to his aid. Those Venusian angels exist at the 2nd degree of Virgo. And so the moon may be picking these signs and synchronicities up days in advance of the culmination into the solar eclipse, where there's that ultimate clarity, realization, and brand new beginning and fresh start, where these codes are fully activated and initiated into our beingness on all these multiple levels. And it says mankind's, at the 29th degree, where it's actually at here, mankind's vast, enduring effort to reach for knowledge transferable from generation to generation into the 30th degree, that critical degree. And as you notice, we've got several players at critical degrees, and I see I didn't account for Chiron, which I do believe is exactly opposite the Neptune and Saturn conjunction here of spirit and matter at the beginning and end of the zodiac cycle, that critical spot. And so it's so profound. So then moving on to that 30th degree where Mars is moving towards, 3 mounds of knowledge on a philosopher's head. And so it's giving me the third eye, but I know that's not all of it. But it's very interesting because it's like we have the power and the wherewithal, and the bumps and bruises, like from Rafiki on The Lion King. It's like, bam, we've got hit so many times, universe. Why was that necessary? It doesn't matter. It was in the past. And so it's like now we've got those hard knots. And so we've got the hard knocks life to give us that generational knowledge that then gets passed on to the next generation. And so the highest honor that the crone or the hermit can endure is the activation where they finally pass the mantle onto their continuance. What is that? Is that not predecessor? The predecessor is the ancestor, but giving that knowledge on to the descendants, the ones who come from the matters, are imbued with new knowledge. And so there's a time for the old guard to move on. And I believe that at this time we're getting some very intense clarity that Santa, the universal Santa is coming along and stuffing our stockings, and we need only trust that it is coming in good time, possibly with the year of the horse, that double fire energy that's coming through, the transformation that's happening in the solar plexus, and the ability to move from fear into the love of the heart and unfurling back into love. The unfoldment is underway. Trust it. And so to close this out, we've got Pluto with this church essence moving into like this old mission in Adobe, very earthy, through this unexpected thunderstorm, with then this Navy deserter that understands the difference between freedom and compromise. And the degree of the sun and the moon here to end us. We've got this bald-headed man in uniform has seized power. And 29, a man is gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll he is reading. And 30, having an urgent task to complete, a man doesn't look to any distractions. And moving into the first degree, a butterfly preserved and made perfect with a dart through it. And what I was getting from all of this is there is some secret information that has been funneling around under the surface, and I believe that there are either hackers or something like that that have secret information, and it is going to be released. And we could be talking about some lists and files that have been denied release, but there's an urgent task here. It needs to be released, and somebody is diligently working behind the scenes to expose things. Because what I was getting here is like, whose vision is it, Mercury? Mercury just passed us and gathers so much information, and it's going to be coming back past the sun in retrograde in short order here after this eclipse. And it's talking about this secret information has been preserved. And so there's this some type of like a stigmata was the word. It almost eluded me, but it came through as this sacrificial moth, like this martyr energy of this Christed unity consciousness that has some type of indication of crucifixion or suffering, this stigmata, or the three knots on the philosopher's head. And there's this supernatural capacity that we are being initiated to that is helping us to flow and surrender to this in this coming time. So I really appreciate you guys coming on board for that second part of this reading. Both of those readings went in very extremely different directions, so they are very much a supplemental part 1, part 2. Again, don't forget, I will be moving these to a membership portal. So if you're interested in that, as soon as I launch it, I'll be making several posts about it, and I'll get you guys the information. It will be posted in the description boxes as soon as the information is available. I really appreciate all of you guys for your support, and I will not stop creating the free content, because that is how I do my service work and help others to empower their energy and do their work and their process to help you have that healthy reflection